Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to another segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Talk Show. Today is Friday, June the 12th, 2026. It's 9:48 a.m. I wasn't going to come out with a video today. I was going to wait till the Knicks clinch to come out with a video. If the Knicks were to clinch, should I say. Well, I was going to come out with a video at the end of this finals anyway. But I decided to come out with it now because what I'm hearing in the media is very disturbing. There's quite a few people who's calling for the head coach's job. I'm talking about Mitch Johnson's job, who's the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, because of that epic collapse. And it was an epic collapse in game number 4 of these NBA finals. But I want to remind, and I keep hearing people say this, well, if Pops was coaching the team, and they talk about Greg Popovich, and I'm a big Popovich fan. That's one of my guys. And he's a Hall of Fame coach. Let me say something, folks. People act as if these coaches, and I'm talking about veteran coaches, great coaches don't make mistakes. I'm not even going to talk about, and see, here's the thing. In the Eastern Conference Finals, in game 1, I accused Kenny Atkinson of coaching malpractice, but I wasn't fired him for it when he held on to 4 timeouts while the Knicks was up. I mean, was down 22 points in the fourth quarter, midway through the fourth quarter. Okay, which was actually just think about from a time standpoint, midway through the fourth quarter. Nobody's supposed to be able to come back from a 20-point deficit. The Knicks was able to do that because he waited until the Knicks got down to 5 before he called a timeout. Go back and look at it. I've watched it many times. That was not the case here. And even though Kenny made that mistake, I wouldn't have fired him for that mistake. Now, here's what I would have fired him. Because his team was down 3-0. He goes talking about how they're winning, the Cavs are winning this series analytically. For him making that statement, I would have fired him for that. Because now you're embarrassing the organization where you even got people from other sports mocking you, like football, mocking you for the statement. You don't make a statement like that. I would have fired him for that. I'm slow to want to fire a guy, for making a mistake. People make mistakes. No matter how much we want to, well, if it was Greg Popovich, he wouldn't have made that mistake. He wouldn't have cost his team. Stop. We forget history. The same Greg Popovich who called, remember, the Spurs got 5 titles, 5 championships. They should have had 6. What do I mean? Go back to 2013. 2013, it was game 6 of the NBA Finals. The Spurs was up 3-2 in Miami. He had a collapse in that game, at the end of that game, where he, for some odd reason, when his team just needed a rebound, one rebound to win the game, he took his biggest and best player off the floor in Tim Duncan to go small, which allowed Ray Allen to get that ball, or which allowed, excuse me, um, oh, I forgot who was the center there. He came with LeBron in the decision. But anyway, he grabbed the ball, rebound, threw it out to Ray Allen. Ray Allen hits the shot to send that game to overtime, and the Spurs never recovered, and of course lost Game 7. And Greg Popovich apologized to his team because he knew he cost his team a title. Greg, so Greg, by everyone's logic, since Mitch Johnson should be fired for making a mistake, well, making this mistake in this collapse, well, then Greg Popovich should have been fired. Oh, we're still not convinced yet? Okay, let's go. Let's go back even a little further. Let's go back to 2008. And it was in the NBA Finals, too. Game 4 of the NBA Finals, Lakers versus Celtics. By everyone's logic, Phil Jackson should be fired because his team had a 24-point lead, and until Wednesday night was still the biggest comeback in NBA history in a finals game. You do know that. The Lakers had a 24-point lead, and because they couldn't maintain that lead in the second half, Phil Jackson should be fired because he made mistakes. Oh, you still not convinced? Okay, hold on. Let's go back to 1994. The great Pat Riley, Game 7 on the road against the Houston Rockets in the finals. I'm not talking about in earlier rounds. We're talking the finals. He allowed John Starks, who could not hit the broadside of a barn. He couldn't put the ball in the ocean. The man was missing every shot known to man. When he had a sniper and a marksman sitting on the bench by the name of Rolando Blackman and refused to play him. And Pat Riley apologized because he knew, and he admitted afterwards that was his greatest regret. So, by everyone's logic, Pat Riley should have been fired. Oh, we're still not convinced? We're still not convinced. Okay. 1992, Portland Trailblazers. Rick Adelman, an excellent coach in his own right. Portland in game 2, I believe it was. I believe it was game 2. Had a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter. And Michael Jordan came back and beat him. But because I guess he should be fired too. Why am I keep saying this? So we're gonna fire now. Listen to what people are saying. Let's fire a rookie head coach because this is Mitch Johnson's first full year as a head coach. He's a rookie head coach in the finals with a rookie team, a team full of rookies and young players. We're gonna fire him because he didn't stop the Knicks from coming back. Like if he, first of all, like if he was the one playing, wow, he should have taken when they were up 29 points. He should have taken Wemby out of the game and gave him at least 4 or 5 minutes worth of rest. And now let's say Mitch Johnson would have done that. So he gonna take Wemby out of the game when it's 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, to give him 4 or 5 minutes rest when he's up 29. When the Knicks have a history of coming back on teams 20-point deficits. And Mitch Johnson knows this. This is what the Knicks do. When the Knicks are down 20 or something points or more in the second half, and particularly third and fourth quarter, they're known for coming back. He knows this. So if let's say he takes Wemby out of the game for that, give him 4 or 5 minutes of blow, and that 29-point deficit goes down to 15, which 18, which the Knicks are able to do in a 4-minute span. You do know that the Knicks can really push a deficit down that much in a 4-minute span, and then they lose that game. what would everybody have said? How could you have said Wemby for those 4 or 5 minutes and allowed the Knicks to come back and get that deficit down? Like, they would have said that. In other words, it was a no-win situation. And I agree with Mitch Johnson. He was trying to end the game. That's why he kept Wemby out there the whole time. Because he said it. If you go back and listen to the press conference, he said it, his rationale, and he had the right rationale. Wemby just unfortunately wasn't able to complete it. But he had the right idea. I'm not going to give the Knicks a chance to try to win this game. But they won it anyway. I'm not firing him. And this is a young team. The Spurs' average age is like, what, 24, 26 years old? They're the second youngest team in the history of the NBA Finals. You got to go back to the 1970-something Portland Trailblazers to find a team that was actually as young, if not younger, than the San Antonio Spurs. There's a reason why young teams don't get to the finals, folks. This is hard. So now think about it. The same people crying that he should be fired, I want to ask them, have they never made a mistake on their jobs? And if they have, should they have been fired? Oh, and have you never made a mistake on your job when you were a rookie, when you were a new employee on your job? You never made a mistake? Of course you have. Let's show some grace. Yes, it was an epic collapse. They'll learn from this. He'll learn from this. I'm not firing him. Because if we go by that logic, every coach in the NBA should be fired. If we go by that logic. Joe Mazzulla, the head coach of the Boston Celtics, won a title about 3 years ago. He should be fired because the following season, he allowed the Knicks to not come back from not one, but two 20-point leads in the fourth quarter going into the fourth. Now, that wasn't the NBA Finals. That was the semifinals of the conference final of the semi-conference finals. But this happens, folks. So by everybody's logic, Joe Mazzulla should be fired. If we're going to fire coaches every time they make a mistake, then, well, these are humans. These are not robots. We all make mistakes. We all say, man, I wish I did this or I could have done that. We all could have done something different. That's called life, folks. That's called life. This is the same Mitch Johnson. You want fired. It's the same Mitch Johnson who outcoached the Spurs. I mean, not the Spurs, the OKC's head coach, Mark Daigneault. I think that's how you pronounce his name. If I pronounced it wrong, my apologies. Inexperienced, championship winning head coach. He outcoached him. This is the same coach who outcoached Fitch, the head coach from Minnesota. Now he's getting outcoached. It happens. It happens, folks. So I can't stand when the media does this. Or ex-players or players who wants to call for this man firing. This man should not be fired. Yes, it was an epic collapse. But to me, Mitch Johnson wasn't the one going out to shooting all those threes. Mitch Johnson wasn't the one who decided to try to do a layup with 13 seconds to go when all you needed to do was hold the ball and allow the man to foul you. And then, yes, you're going to have to make your free throws. That wasn't Mitch Johnson. That was on De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is the experienced person in here. He got more experience than even the head coach. Because for the head coach and for this team, for the majority of these players on this team, this is their first time in the playoffs, let alone the finals. De'Aaron Fox been in the playoffs before. The man's an all pro. He was supposed to provide veteran leadership. And he's the one who actually failed the Spurs. Not Mitch Johnson, not Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox. He had the veteran leadership. Because here's the funny thing. That when he went and grabbed the ball and went for the layup when he really should have pulled the ball out and allowed the Knicks to foul him. That wasn't the only mistake he made down the stretch. He made even a more crucial mistake. Didn't even that. He followed up that mistake by making another mistake. Go back to the OG and OB tip. Go back and look at the replay. Who failed to box out? The same De'Aaron Fox. He did not box out OG. That was his man. He was supposed to box him out. He did. He allowed OG to run the lane and do that tip. But we want to blame the coach? We want to blame Wemby? Wemby, who's only played like 30 something minutes in the regular season? He averaged 30 something minutes in the regular season, but in this game was averaging like 40 something minutes, which is a big difference. And is a rookie to this, even though he's in his third year. But he's a rookie being this long in the playoffs. He's never been in the playoffs before. This is the longest he's ever played in basketball. But we want to blame him because he got tired. Yes, players get tired. It happens. I know nobody wants to hear that, but it happens. So I say this to the Rob Parkers, the Emmanuel Achos, and all the others of the world who wants to get Mitch Johnson fired or who's calling for him to be fired. Go get a life. And I'm dead serious. Go get a life. Because I am certain they've made mistakes. As a matter of fact, Rob Johnson got fired. Not Rob. I mean Rob Parker. Sorry, Rob Parker. He got fired for making a mistake on his job. Because he asked a stupid question to Jim Schwartz when he was the head coach of the Detroit Lions. And he got fired for it. Now, you should question whether he got fired for it, but hey, but you never made no other mistakes, Rob? Emmanuel, you never made any other mistakes? What is that old scripture that says, he who's without sin cast the first stone? He who is without sin cast the first stone. He who doesn't make a mistake cast the first stone. If I were to put the blame of that loss game five on anyone, it's going to be on De'Aaron Fox because he's the veteran. He's supposed to provide veteran leadership. He's out there playing. He should be providing veteran leadership. He could have helped really prevent what took place, but in actuality, he added uh, fuel to that fire. I want to thank you for watching another segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Show. hit that subscribe, hit the like button, give me a thumbs up or comment. Let me know what you think. You can disagree with me on this. We don't have to necessarily, hey, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. This finals has been interesting. The Knicks is one win away from winning the NBA championship, hosting the Larry O'Brien Trophy. They're one win away. Um, to break a 54, 53 excuse me, year history. And if they get it done, congratulations to them. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I am a New Yorker, and I'm going to root for them in this instance, even though I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm a Nets fan. Don't like the Knicks, but I respect them. But I'm going to root for them because why? It's been a long time, and they're our brothers, our big brothers, we call them, because the Nets were the little brothers. And we, as brothers, we can fight with each other, but we're not going to let outsiders fight. No, that's just not the way that works. Okay? And New York is good when the Knicks are winning. When the Knicks are winning, then New York is good. And basketball is good when the Knicks are winning. That makes basketball more relevant. As a matter of fact, game three. Matter of fact, this has been they said the most watched finals since 1998. And you know who played in 1998? Michael Jordan and the Bulls. They said this has been the most watched finals since then. So that tells you the power of New York. And I'm a New Yorker at the end of the day. You can take the kid out of the city, but you can't take the city out of the kid. I'm a New Yorker at the end of the day. And so I got to root for the Knicks. Again, now if the Knicks have won other championships, then that would have been different. But the Knicks it's been a long time since they won a championship. And so they deserve to get this one. And so I'm happy for them if they got to complete the task. But I want to thank you for watching another segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Talk Show. Have a good day.